So the other day we uploaded a video showcasing the Faderfox EC4 paired with the Sp404Mk2, and in that video I kind of just went over how the EC4 controls some aspects on the Mark II as far as controlling bus 3 and bus 4, as well as pads on bank J and some bus 1, bus 2 functionality as well. But one thing that I didn't cover in that video was how I set the EC4 up to do all of those tasks. So that's what we're gonna do today. Yeah. All right, so we got the EC4 in front of us, and also a correction. So this isn't USB-A, I think this is USB-B. So USB-C is coming from the power bank that I got down here, which is just a small rig, I think VB50. It's like a DTAP battery power bank, but it's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, how you power it, this is a USB-B, not USB-A, like I said in the previous video. So the hierarchy, if you haven't seen the other video, the hierarchy of the Faderfox, this is going to be your main screen. These are going to be all your folders. So, you know, we got a folder for the syntax. We got folder 2, 3, 4. This is going to be our 404 folder. I said and covered in the last video, low key, the Ableton folder down here. But today we're focusing on our Sp404 folder. So when we go into our folder, it takes us automatically into the last group that we were in when we were in that folder, and that's going to be our blank group for today. But if you press group, you kind of go back out, back one step in the hierarchy of how the Faderfox works. So now we're in like our group. So Sp404 folder, want to click on that, and then these are all the groups in that folder. So we got bus 1, 2, fav 1, fav 2, and today we are going to be working on our new group, which will be let's just call it YouTube. So this is one thing I can show you just to get things started. So we have these little icons on the side. It says setup, edit, name, learn. So you can press the function button to get into those, and then setup, edit, name, learn corresponds with these knobs over here. So this would be setup, edit, name, learn. Let's name we're gonna name our group for this. We'll go out to name it, and then as you can see, there's also ABC. You know, we have our alphabet underneath each corresponding knob, as well as some arrow keys and some like numerical symbol characters as well. And then this will do I think lowercase, uppercase, but we're gonna want to go to our group up there and name it, and we'll name it what should we say, Y T B. Oh, let's go back to B. If anybody remembers texting on cell phones back in the day when you had to press the button a bunch of times to get the word you're looking for. But yeah, we'll call this group YouTube. And while we're in this naming portion of the Faderfox, we are going to also go into the group and just start naming everything as well. So we're pretty much going to mirror the setup that we had in the previous video that I did, but we're going to change one thing. We're going to have the top row only affect bus 2. So this will be our bus 2 knob right here, and then this will be control knob 1, 2, and 3. Everything else will stay the same, but we could start naming this right now. So B, U, S, and then we'll give it a number 2. Cool. Then we'll go over, and then we'll call this control 1, C, T, oops, all right, C, T, R, L. Oh, actually, no L. Control, or should I put an L right there? I think we'll put an L right there. Control 1, and then, yeah, cool. It's kind of therapeutic. I sat here and I made, when I was doing like the syntax version of this, it was fun. You guys are hanging with me while we're doing this. So all right, cool. So now we got the top row done. We got bus 2 control knob 1, 2, 3. That's all visual stuff for us. These down here are going to be, we're going to just call them SFX, because they're going to control pads 9 through 12, 9, 10, 11, 12 on bank J on our 404. But we're going to call them SFX on the Faderfox. So SF, because they'll just be like DJ drops for this particular bank. But like I said in the previous video, you can put whatever you want. This layout also isn't set in stone. You can lay out your own EC4 or MIDI controller however you want. Somebody just requested sort of like a how to or how did I set up kind of video, so thought I'd walk you through my process and my setup. So we got one more. So now we're going down to our third row, and our third row is going to be an isolator. I think I'm still going to stick with the isolator for this, and our fourth row will still be the DJFX. So we'll just call this ISO. Oh, nope. ISO. Should I put an L on there? ISO? No, we'll leave that blank actually. Cool. ISO. And I forgot how I had it, which is cool. We could just go back and reference. We'll go to this guy. So your low, medium, high. Cool. Go back to our thing. ISO. Low. Bam. Cool. Now we got our ISO. So the DJFX one is a little interesting. It's not as straightforward usually. So for this row 3, it's like this is going to be the on and on for the ISO, and this will be the knobs. The way that I have the DJFX set up on my EC4 is just for comfort. So I have the on and off on the middle. I have the kind of like the, not the length, but what's it called? Let's go look. The speed knob. So it's going to be the on and off in the middle, the speed knob right next to that. Those are going to be the two middles, and then I have the length and the actual on and off. So this is this will activate bus 4, and this will activate the actual on and off control knob 3 for the DJFX. So I got length, DJFX, sped, on and off. Cool. So I got length. Let's go length. Okay, so that is going to be the naming portion. And then if you click function again, press name, everything should be set in stone. I think we should go back and name this though again. So let's go back. This will be the YouTube folder. Y, T, B, E, cool. So yeah. Now we have our YouTube folder. We'll go in there. We've named all of our knobs, but these knobs won't do anything until we give it instructions on what to do, or pretty much tell each knob where it'll be going into the where it'll be routing to into the 404. So we do that by pressing function again, and then we'll press the corresponding edit knob. So setup, edit, name, learn. We'll go to edit. And now this is kind of like the brains of the EC4. This is like the where you're going to tell it what to do. There is a MIDI implementation chart for the 404 Mk2 that I'll link in the description that you guys can reference. I've taken all the information I need and wrote it down on this piece of paper, but I suppose it's sort of pretty straightforward. So let me kind of, I don't know if you can see this, but basically on the 404, this is how it this is all the information I needed. So channel 1, MIDI channel 1 is going to be for bus 1, MIDI channel 2 for bus 2, MIDI channel 3 for bus 3, channel 4 is for bus 4, channel 5 is for the input. And for the banks, the MIDI channel is going to be pretty much 1 through 10. So bank A is 1, B is 2, pretty much going down the list, and J is going to be 10. So that's all the information that I needed, as well as the pad numbers. So through bank A and J, so A through J, the CC the MIDI CC numbers is what we need. So if you wanted to trigger pad 1, it would be CC48. If you wanted to trigger pad 9, it would be CC40. And that's kind of where this row of knobs comes in. But yeah, we'll go down the list and we will start to make some changes. I don't know everything about the EC4, so I'm not exactly sure too much like what these guys do, but I know that these knobs right here, it's going to be the lower limit of whatever message you're sending, and this is going to be the upper limit. The lowest is going to be 000 and the highest is going to be 127. The display pretty much just tells us how we want something to look when we make a change. So for instance, this on and off right here, it'll say on and off. For the DJFX, the display is on and off. And then you can have like the numbers go from minimum, maximum. And then we also have this negative to positive display, and those are the ones we'll be using. The cool thing about the Faderfox also is if you kind of like go a little bit towards one way and then you press it, it'll go back to its default stage. So if I go down this way, it'll go down to the minimum. If I start going up, it'll go up. Yeah, just a little thing to take note of. So our first row, if I remember correctly, yeah, we're gonna do channel 2 because we want to affect bus 2, and our display is going to be on and off because we want this to be, we want it to, you know, trigger on and off, let us know when it's on and off. The MIDI CC number is going to be 19. So basically 19 is going to control, CC number 19 controls the on and off. Like when I turn the knob, this is going to be affecting CC19, and on the Sp404Mk2, it's going to, CC19 reads, do I turn this on? Do I turn this off? So that's what that is right there. And another trick on the EC4 that I found out through trial and error is if I just do it on, if I do the lower at 127 and 00, it's going to take a second for me to twist. Here, let me get out of this real quick. If I just did it regular like this, the twisting motion, I'd have to do it a little bit more because from 0 to 63, there's all that space of when something is triggered, before something's triggered. Actually, I'm not exactly sure the language I'm trying to say or how to explain this, but in what we're doing now is 63 and 64. There's just one number in between those two numbers, and that's all it takes. So when you're at 63, the signal will be off, and then right when you switch over to 64, that's when it's on. So if you don't set your numbers up this way, your lower to upper limit, you're going to be needing to go from 0, and you're going to have to cross through all the numbers until you go past 63. So in this instance, we're going to bypass that, and we're going to make our lower limit 63 and our upper limit 64, because at 64, that's when the signal, you know, it's on now. When you're at 63, it's off. Right when you cross over to 64, that's like the light switch, you know? So yeah, don't really have the language for that, but that's just why we do this for this particular kind of like on and off switch. All right, cool. So that's our knob 1. That's gonna activate bus 2. Knob 2 is gonna be our control. So this would be control knob 1, 2, and 3. Now, when you're setting this up, especially in the 404 Mark II, it has 2 separate menus. So it's the first 3 knobs, and then you can go into a secondary menu and have another 3 knobs. I'm not going to worry about that. At least for this setup, you know, you can make other pages where, you know, it's just purely like, you can call this page like bus. I think that's what I did for here. I did, yeah, so I have bus 1, bus 2, and this is like everything. So I can like turn it on, off, and then this is page 1, and then this is page 2 of all the parameters. So you can definitely set something up like that as well if you just want to affect buses 1 and 2. But for this video and for this setup, we're just doing the first 3 control knobs. Back to it. All right, so we definitely want to be on channel 2 because this is bus 2, and our first knob. So the CC message for control knob 1 is going to be 16, or the CC number. It'll be 16, And then for this, we're gonna do a display of 100, and our lower upper limit is gonna be minimum maximum. So cool, we got a min, max. All right, and obviously that's gonna affect some of these effects. They might have a bipolar position to where it's like you can go positive or negative, but this is just a standard for me. I'm just gonna do min max for the control knobs, and I'm not actually sure if what I just said was true, but either way, we're gonna do a minimum of 0, maximum of 127, and I think we're good. So we'll go to knob 3. We're gonna go to display 100. We want to be on bus 2, and then it's gonna be CC number 17. So cool. So we had CC 16, 17, and honestly, let's just go to number 4 and just set ourselves up right now. 18, channel 2. Cool. So we got 100, min max, 0, 0, 127, number 4. So as you can see, things can start getting faster once you kind of know what you're doing, but I don't want to rush too much on this video, just so anybody that's watching kind of can see what we got going on here. So this is going to be our top row. EC4, that's going to be our knob 4. Number 18, that's going to be control knob. Oosh, there we go. It's going to be control knob number 3, control knob number 2, control knob number 1 on the 404 Mark II. And that's it for row 1. We can go down to row number 2. So it's going to be knob 5, channel 10. What is it? Oh yeah, so this is going to be bank J. So bank J lives on MIDI channel 10. And for the pads that we want to trigger, they're going to be the 3rd row up. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think, what do we got? We got channel 40. So yeah, or 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so we're affecting pads 9, 10, 11, 12 with these particular CC messages that we're going to encode on the 404 or on the EC4. My apologies. So let's just get our channels correct first. So I got knob 5, channel 10, knob 6, channel 10, knob 7, channel 10, knob 8, channel 10. Cool. So I'll go back to 5. And what do we got? Our display will be on and off. Yep, because what we're going to be doing is triggering it. If it was like a bullhorn, so I just want to see if it's on or off. Click, 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 or turn, turn, turn. The CC for knob number 9 or pad number 9 on the 404 is going to be 40, and it'll be 40, 41, 42, 43. So those are going to be, so it'll be 40 for 9. Let's go over for 10. Oh. We'll switch that to on and off. That'll be 41. So pad 9, pad 10, pad 11, pad 12. Cool. 12, 11, 10, 9. Let's get our display for the others. Oop, my bad. 42, our display will be on, off, cool. And then our display will be on, off. On, off, on, off, on, off, all channel 10. And kind of what I explained previous about the lower and upper limit. If we're twisting these knobs, it's going to take us, if we have our lower limit at 0, it's going to take us from 0 to 63, up until 63 of like pretty much dead space. That's off space. So one good thing to do for these pad triggers is to do our lower limit, upper limit sort of a dealio. And, or actually, I'm looking at my notes. So in this particular case, cool, real-time correction. In this particular case, we're going to touch this type knob down here, and we're going to turn this type to note. Cool. So note doesn't have like a lower limit, upper limit. That's a good thing to know, but we do need to change this back to what we wanted it to affect, because 31 obviously is going to be something, a different note that we might not want. So let's go back to number 5 or knob 5. We'll change the type to note. Go to knob 6, change the type to note. 7, change the type to note. All right, 8. All right, cool. So 5 is going to be pad 9, and we know pad 9 is going to be, let's go to our chart, CC40. 40, 41, 42, 43. Very cool. So got our second row done. These are going to trigger pads 9 through 12 on bank J. Oh, my battery's done charging. Cool. We got our top bus 2 control. Now we're going to move down to our ISO knob layer, bus 3. So we know bus 3 is going to be on channel 3. We could just kind of cycle through, get all these on there. Cycle 3 all the way to number 12. Cool, cool, cool. So we're at 3. Our first CC is going to be the CC19 for our first knob. That's going to send a message for on and off. So turning the isolator on, bus 3 isolator on or off. That's 19. And what else do we got? We're gonna do our little min-max trick, minimum maximum trick, which reduces the amount of space in between the on and off signal. So lower 63, upper 64. And that looks like it's about it. We'll also switch our display to on and off, so it'll let us know when our ISO is on or off. Cool. So our control knob 1, 2, 3 for our isolator, that is going to be 16, 17, 18. So a lot of these numbers kind of like repeat, like as far as locations in the 404's like MIDI directory. So control 1, 2, 3 is 16, 17, 18. So I'll just squeeze over to 11. We'll call this 17, and then 12, we'll call that 18. Cool. So back. And oops, you all right? Cool. So for our lower, let's see, EC10, our lower, it'll be min-max. Cool. So the minimum and the maximum. But our display for this particular one will be the first time we're using it in this video. So for number 10, the isolator is bipolar, to where you can be at 0 where nothing's affecting it, and then you can go all the way up to, I think 63 is like the maximum number, which will, if you were on like the high, let's say, it'll be really, really bright. Or you can go negative, as in like cutting off the highs or cutting off the mids, cutting off the lows, so you can boost and cut. So that's why for this one we're gonna go for display. You could do positive, negative 50 or 500, but I like 63. 63 works for me. So that'll show us, let's see if I go back. Where did I just put that on? Yeah, so that'll give us this. So you can press 0 on the Faderfox to be at 0. So you can just like have a neutral sound signature, or you can go positive and boost the lows. Go back to 0, and then you can cut the lows. So that's why we do that display plus minus right there. So let's do that for the rest of our ISO knobs. Bam, right there, and then, all right, cool. So that's our bus 3 ISO layer. Now we're gonna get into our DJFX layer, and let me just make sure I'm not gonna play myself real quick. So we got length. So this is gonna be an on and off display, and this will also be an on and off display. Cool. So let's just get right to that. So 13, or so knob 14 is gonna be on and off. Knob 16 is gonna be on and off. On and off, cool. So we're gonna, for all the on and off switches, we're gonna do that min-max, minimum, maximum, lower, upper trick, to where it's like 63, 64. So it's like a feather's touch, you know, boop, just like a slight twist. So that's for that one. And then for 14, we're gonna do the same. Cool. 64, 63. And then our channels are gonna be channel 4, because we wanna affect bus 4. So let's get that out the way. Channel 4. Boop, boop, channel 4, channel 4. Cool. So let me look back to my chart. Our CC number for knob 16 is going to be CC number 18, because that's control knob. Number 3, yep. CC 18. Our knob 15 is going to be 17. Cool. So that's control knob number 2 for referencing our CC language for the 404. So we got 18, 17. This is 19, if I'm correct. Let me see. Yep, 19 controls the on and off. That's the CC message for on and off on the Sp404 Mark II. And then this will be 16 then, right? So knob number 13 is 16. See, we're learning. We're learning together. So our display for 16 is going to be, 127. So that's just going to show us, the min, the max. Display for number 14 is going to be on and off. I think we already got that. Yes, we did. Display for number 15 will be another min max. So what I have here, this is going to be another thing that, a decision that I made. So for 15, that is, let's go in here real quick. That's speed. So right now, if we were all the way down, that means if you're on the DJFX, if I turned it on and I turned the speed down, it'd kind of be like a vinyl. And then once you go to 0, you can go bipolar into reverse. I don't ever need to do that myself. So in this instance, you could have knob 15 be another bipolar one. And, you just keep the min max. And, once you're all the way up, that means and the DJFX is on, that means the track is playing regular. But once you start going down, it'll do the slow down vinyl effect and then eventually into a reverse. But for me, I chose to keep it, keep the display obviously at 127, but so at 64 I found is when so from the upper limit 127 all the way down to 64, when everything's all fine and dandy at 127, I haven't twisted a knob at all, that means the track is playing smooth. But from 127 to 64, that's the numerical amount of space from smooth playing to fully cut off. And then from 64 down to 0, that would be the activation of reverse, but I never use the activation of reverse on the DJFX, so I've chosen to set the lower limit to 64. So it's a slower turn, so it's like, I can just go and then turn it off and then press it, it'll go back, so that's why this is going to look the way that it does. The speed, lower limit 64. I think we just went through the whole thing. That's pretty much how it's done, setting up the EC4 for your MIDI controller of choice. There is MIDI implementation. There are like CC charts for Electron devices too. I have this like Syntac one over here, controlling all my volumes, delays, reverbs, filters. I don't have the Syntac anymore, so we'll probably have to turn this into a Digitone and then Digitact folder, but yeah, for this particular video, that is going to be our YouTube folder, Faderfox EC4 MIDI CC setup. I suppose, yeah, let's, maybe I can bring in the 404 and see if these things work, huh? Let's see, can I fit this in there? Yeah, I think so. I have my Frankenstein MIDI connector. Let me know. I mean, if any of you have issues, like if there is a way to find just a 3.5 MIDI to MIDI connector that works, but I don't know if it's the EC4 or if it's the 404, but none of the connectors that I bought online are work just straight up 3.5 to 3.5. I have to use this adapter right here, one of my old Electron adapters. Anyway. So let's see if this works. Cool, so we have this all set up. Let's see, I'm gonna press bus 2. See, all right, cool. So bus 2 is turning on. You can see it's on filter. Bus 2 is turning on. Let's see if we go into the thing, we'll do control knob 1. Control knob 1 is working. Control knob 2 is working. Control knob 3. So now we have the ability to, whenever we're playing something and we're on bus 1, we could just leave bus 1 without having to tap this anymore. So we'll stay in bus 1, we'll play something, we'll put like a delay on. Obviously I don't have the audio hooked up right now, but you understand what's going on. Ideally, you understand. So yeah, so we can go in here, we can affect all the stuff on bus 1 that we're doing, and then simultaneously we can press bus 2 and affect stuff too. So we could be doing bus 1 and bus 2. We'll just leave bus 1 on the 404 and have the Faderfox take care of business on bus 2. Turning it on and off, and without having to, you know, switch back and forth. We'll just, you know, so on, off. You get the gist. The SFX. So yeah, let's see if our SFX are working. So this is gonna be pad 9 on bank J, pad 10 on bank J, 11, 12. Very cool. And these buttons push also. So if you, I don't like to push so often, so you can kind of see, so you could do this on the 404 and continuously trigger it. This doesn't do that because it's switching between a state of like on and off. So it's like, it's not as fast, but if you do it like this, I found it to actually trigger kind of rapid. Don't hate me for not plugging up this audio right now. I just don't want to have to do all my cable routing. But anyway, let's go to let's make sure we're turning stuff on here. So we got bank 3 and 4 ISO. How would I be able to show you that these are working? Bam, we got, I don't know if I can show you that. Anyway, trust me when, at least give me some sort of a trust when I say that the ISO on and off is turning bus 3 on and off. As you can see, the corresponding knobs, we're dealing with that bipolar setting, display setting on the Faderfox, which allows us to go up and down to infinity and to the extremes. And I don't know why this happens the way that it does, but 0, 0 on the Faderfox defaults this middle. Doesn't go straight to 0, 0. It'll go to 3, 3, but I'm not mad at it. It is what it is. I've learned to live with it. You might not have that same sentiment. And yeah, so we got the on and off for the DJFX. That's the actual looping on and off. We got our speed, and like I said, I set my speed to 64, whereas if we were to change that to the bipolar position, you'd be able to go all the way down. Or would you? Oh yeah, I set my bad. So the lower limit will set to 0, and if you wanted, you could do the speed to be in reverse. So plus 63 has you all the way up, track's running fine, and you go till you hit 0, and then you go do the reverse. But I hardly ever use a reverse, so I'm going to set my lower limit to 64, which will pretty much just stop, do like a tape stop. And then I want to reset my display to 127. Cool. Nice. And then we got our length as well. So yeah, it all works. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that was helpful to you guys. And I hope to see more people utilizing the EC4 Faderfox with the Roland Sp404Mk2. It's a crazy combo. I did some attempts at doing a DJ kind of layout. I personally haven't meshed well with the DJ mode on the 404. I don't think it's something I want to get into. But, you can really get into, if you're DJing, you can have like a whole EQ section. The world is your oyster, right? And the EC4 is extremely flexible. So, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.